Okay, so if you're a creator, a writer, an artist, anyone making stuff for the internet, you need to hear this. Your work might be getting snatched up right now to train the very AI that could, one day be your competition. We're going to call this what it is, a digital heist. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to stop it.
This quote, wow, it just hits different today, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this new reality we're in. Because when content is everywhere, the real power isn't just in making something cool. It's about controlling the door. It's deciding who gets the key.
So think of this as a story. It's a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game happening in the shadows of the internet. We've got invisible thieves on one side and digital fortresses on the other. And by the time we're done here, you're going to have a playbook to defend your own digital turf.
All right, first up, the heist itself. How is this even happening? You probably think you've got protections in place, right? Well, let me tell you, the rules of the game have completely changed.
And the company that really blew this whole thing wide open is Perplexity AI. Now, this isn't just a rumor. According to some pretty detailed analysis from the cybersecurity pros at Cloudflare, Perplexity has been accused of using these, invisible crawlers to just ignore the keep out signs that websites post.
And look, this is how sneaky it gets. These are not your average bots. They completely ignore robots.txt, which is basically the internet's no trespassing sign. They disguise themselves to look like a regular person just browsing on Google Chrome. And to make sure they don't get caught, they're constantly hopping between different IP addresses and even faking their network identity. It's a level of sophistication that makes all the old ways of blocking them pretty much useless.
So when you're facing a threat this advanced, what do? Well, a lot of creators have landed on what feels like the ultimate solution, the paywall. The logic is simple, right? If the bots can't see the content, they can't scrape it. Case closed. Or is it?
And you can see the difference in philosophy right here. The old way, using things like robots.txt, was basically a gentleman's agreement. It relied on bots to be polite. We now know how well that worked out. But the paywall fortress, that's different. It's like a bouncer at a club. It demands ID, it checks you at the server level, and it makes you pay to get in. On paper, it looks foolproof.
But you know how it goes. Every fortress has a weak spot. And this is where our story gets a lot more complicated. Because even that seemingly impenetrable wall, it's got cracks. Big ones.
So you gotta ask, is that fortress really the answer? Is it truly impenetrable? Well, sadly, the answer is a hard no. Those walls are not nearly as solid as you might think. Here's why. First off, AI is clever. It doesn't always have to break down the door. It can just piece together your article from bits and pieces it finds out in the open, like quotes on social media. Plus, a lot of so-called soft paywalls are just a visual trick. The full text is still hiding in the page's code, ripe for the picking. Then you've got stuff like web archives that have a cached copy. And that's not even getting into the business side of things, where a hard paywall can kill your audience growth and raises some tough ethical questions.
Okay, so if the old polite agreement is dead, and the fortress is full of holes, what's a creator to do? Well, the answer isn't to build one single massive wall. It's about getting smarter. It's about creating a defense with multiple layers.
And here's what that system looks like. Layer 1 is your foundation, your infrastructure. Use services like Cloudflare that can spot and block bad bots before they even knock on your door. Layer 2 is about policy. You have to pick a platform, a medium, a Substack that explicitly sides with creators on this. Layer 3 is your legal muscle, strong terms of service and not being afraid to use them. And Layer 4, this is the really cool stuff. Advanced tech like digital watermarks or tools like Glaze that actually poison the well for AI models trying to learn from art.
Now, that second layer, choosing your platform, that might be one of the most important decisions you make in all of this. So let's actually compare some of the heavy hitters and see how they stack up when it comes to being a guardian for your content.
Just look at the different strategies here. Cloudflare is playing defense at the deepest level on the network itself. Medium is taking a stand with its policies, basically saying no by default and trying to get authors paid. Substack puts the power right in your hands. You get a toggle switch to block AI training. And then you have a platform like Patreon, which seems to focus more on its internal community rules, but doesn't have an explicit block against these external scrapers. You can see how your choice here really matters.
So, if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. There is no silver bullet. There's no single button you can press. Real, true protection in the age of AI isn't about one big wall. It's about a smart, strategic, layered defense, where every piece works together to keep your work safe.
And that all leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending question to chew on. As this technology just keeps getting better and better, you have to wonder, have we hit a turning point? Is the skill of controlling access to content now becoming more valuable than the skill of actually creating it? That's a heavy one, and it's something all of us are going to have to grapple with.